Hello everyone, this is Heather and this is going to be our first weekly review where we are going to go over some of the trade ideas that we posted last week and see how they did. So almost every week or 2 weeks we post tons of trade ideas on our Twitter account. Those are all manual trade ideas based on what we are seeing from our artificial intelligence tools at Tradex. And then I thought, why not just go over those ideas after a few days to see how things worked, and then maybe we can derive some insights from those ideas, and maybe we can learn things together. So I think this is the purpose of creating these videos is going to be to teach you how to analyze these trade ideas, which ones to pick, how did they perform, and just draw some insights which we can use to improve our trading. So the first one is Tesla. Let's see where Tesla was. Tesla was consolidating here, and we posted it on April 25. So let's see what happened to Tesla this week. Today is April 30th. So let's see what did we do. So we posted it on April 25. So this was the last candle that we posted it on. And we can see that Tesla had a really beautiful trend line support here, right? And Tesla also had a really beautiful support here. And this was the candle when we posted about Tesla, and you can see that the price went up the very next day. But there was some bearish pressure, and the very next day we actually broke both resistance levels. Then the next 2 days we kept going down, and finally today we went up, but you can see where we stopped. So Tesla moved up a lot today, and many people got excited, and now they're thinking that it's going to move to 1000 and maybe 1500, or let's say at least 800. You can see that there are two resistance levels here. And you should remember from some of our other videos that when we cross below a support level, that becomes a resistance level. There were two support levels here that we broke, and now those support levels have become a resistance level. And that's exactly what you can see here as well. You can see the price went up, but where did it stop? It stopped at that resistance level. So for next week or for the next few days, you should wait until we actually cross both of these levels, and then you should enter, because you can see that not just these two levels, we also have somewhat of a resistance from these moving averages lines. Those are quite blurry right now, but you can see that they're still there, and we've only just crossed them. So that's what that's the play. We shouldn't go into the play. We shouldn't go into Tesla right now. We should probably wait a little bit before we cross the resistance levels. And again, if you think that we went above the resistance, you can see that if you look really clearly, really closely, you can see that we went up, but then we went down by the end of the day. So we haven't really crossed the resistance level. We need to wait to see or enter before we cross this level. So that's it about Tesla. The setup didn't quite work because it worked for the first day, but the very next day we broke the support level. So that would have been your exit. If you were long Tesla, or if you had bought calls, you either exit the very first day when the price actually goes up, or you exit when we actually cross the support level, because that's your exit level. So always exit when we cross the support or resistance levels if you're long or short. And if you hope that this will just come back up, then what you'll realize is many times it doesn't come back up, and you lose a lot of money. So always have a fixed trade plan, and the trade plan for this was, and we had a really good entry because we were right at the support of a horizontal and trend line support. So we were going to enter right away. We entered, the price actually did go up the next day, but then there was just too much bearish pressure, and we went down. So that was going to be your exit right away when we crossed that support level. So that's it about Tesla. Let's see what UMC did. Right, I think we are seeing something very similar with UMC. We posted about it here, As you can see, yep, we posted about it here. And you can see again, similar to Tesla, we had this resistance level. We broke it the very next day, we gapped up. Gap ups are usually never good, and personally, I don't really like them. I really like the price to not gap up and actually go up right from the close of the last day and then have a big green candle. So we did have a good big green candle, but again, there was a gap up, and what you will often realize is most of the gaps in the markets get filled. Markets really like filling all these gaps. So when you see a gap up, and let's say you had an entry here, you're going to exit. So that's just a very risk averse play. So if you think this is going to go up, obviously you can stay in, but when you're seeing gap ups, you should start exiting some of your partial position at least. So we saw the gap up. Ideally we would have exited somewhere here, but the next day we went down. This was completely fine because we are going down and we are still above the resistance level. Then the next day we went down, but we stopped right, we closed right at that resistance level. As you can see it right here. So that there was enough bullish pressure that we went above the resistance level again, but the next day again we crossed the resistance level. Now we crossed the support level. Sorry, we crossed the support level now, and that would have again been your exit. So both of these setups did not work this week. Again, there was just too much bearish pressure, and the markets were not really nicely bullish this week. So that's why I think that the bullish setups didn't really follow through. You can see that we followed the setups, like we were supposed to just go up from here because we broke the resistance, but apparently there was enough bearish pressure to get these things down again. Let's go to the next one. We had NIO. And for NIO, I have a really interesting thing to show you. So anchored VWAP, when you anchor it from the top, from the latest top, we could have anchored it from here, or let's say here, or when you anchor it from a bottom, it acts as a support or resistance level. When you are anchoring it from a top, it acts as a resistance level. When you anchor it from a bottom, it acts as a support level. You can see that when we anchor it from here is the resistance. Like this was both a 20 moving average resistance and an anchored VWAP resistance. You can see it right here. The price couldn't go above this level, right? So always be aware of these anchored VWAP resistance levels because they are very powerful and they are very strong. It's rarely the case that you can just break the level and go up right away. These are really strong. So just be aware of them. So now we posted this, let's say here. So I posted this about here because I was expecting the price to go up, but there was always a catch. So this orange line, this anchored VWAP resistance was going to act as a resistance level here, and only if we broke this level were we going to go up in a smooth way, because the next resistance was up somewhere here. So this would have been a really good play if we broke this level. You can see that this was posted here. We went up the very next day, but then we went down, and we actually ended the week almost on a break even level, but still we have not been able to break this resistance yet. So the next play is going to be to wait until either we hit this support level, which is again a really beautiful support level. As you can see, we have hit it 3 times here. So again, you don't want to buy or sell when you are in between these support and resistance levels. You always want to buy or sell at these support and resistance levels exactly. So we can see that we hit the resistance level here and we could not break it. So this would have probably been your exit, this red candle, because you can see that we tried, we couldn't break it, and you would have just gotten out in sort of in a break-even fashion. The next few days, again, we are still about break-even. So I have a position here and I'm almost break-even. I am not down, but a good way for this would have been to just exit here. The reason I haven't exited is because I want to accumulate shares and I'm investing in NIO for long term because I really like the EV sector. But if you were swinging this, then this would have been your exit, because we have tried to break the resistance, we couldn't. So just get out. The next entry is going to be when we hit this support level. You can see that this is a really strong support level. We have hit it 3 times. So let's say we hit it again, and then the next candle is actually a green candle. When we start going up, that is going to be your entry. Then hopefully if we go up again, we either go up to, let's say, the 20 moving average. You can see it acted as a support here, and if we cross it, then we have another it acted as a resistance here, and if we go up, then we have another resistance level above. So we are going to enter here, and then we are going to either exit here, or if you want to wait and see if we can finally break this resistance level, then you're going to wait. And if we can break the resistance level, then it's all good. This is just an excellent setup. If it doesn't, then you're going to exit. Now markets are not that simple, so maybe it won't go here. It'll just go up from here and right away break the resistance level. So when the resistance level is broken and we don't even touch the support level, then that's another entry, because once a resistance level is broken, especially since it's a strong resistance level, we have hit it 2 times, then that resistance level becomes a support. So you're going to enter again. So there are 2 entries right now. One is at this level, at this blue line, and then the second one is when we break this anchored VWAP resistance. So those are the 2 entries that you're going to have. So just keep an eye out on NIO and enter when these 2 levels get filled. All right, let's see. So we have NAT. This is again a really nice long-term play. This was not really a swing. So let's see. This was posted here, and we can see that this is still positive. Right, this was posted here on Friday, on Sunday actually. We opened green on Monday. We are still green, just one red candle, and we are still green. So from here we are about here. So this worked okay. There was nothing wrong with it. This was a good setup. So there's nothing else to tell you. One thing that we might want to discuss is this beautiful level here. So let's see what it's doing. So we have this level here, and we can see that we crossed this level, but then we have a resistance level right above it. So since again this was a long-term play, I was not looking at levels, but if you want to swing it, then these are the 2 levels that you want to look at. We have this moving average support here. We had this resistance. You can see that we crossed this resistance and we crossed it again here. We couldn't cross it properly here, we went back, but once we crossed it again here, we actually went up quite nicely. So what I would expect is we have actually another resistance level here as well. So there are 3 resistance levels above. If you want to hold this for long term, this is a really great company, and let me show you why. Because although the future financial estimates are not looking, the future EPS is not looking good, but the future revenue increase is looking exceptional. So 100% increase in the next 1 or 2 years, that's a very good amount. And you can see even the historical financial metrics, they're really good. You always want to find straight lines, like straight upward trends, when you are trying to invest in these companies. So as long as both of these lines are in a straight upward trend for any of these financial metrics, you want to go in and you want to invest more often than not. So that's the setup here. Again, for swinging, let's say you entered here, we broke this resistance. Now let's hope we break this resistance as well. Right now we are at the support now, because we broke the resistance, but we fell down, and that level is acting as a support now. So right now is a decent entry as well, and then let's hope we break these levels as well, and then we'll probably reach all-time highs. Yeah, we'll probably reach all-time highs for this year. So again, really good setup for long-term investment purpose. Let's see. So we had skills. This wasn't really a trade idea. I was just showing dark pool activity. But let's see if we can find some really interesting stuff here. I believe we have something here. So I'm going to change the VWAP period to 58 because that's the top. And again, this is anchored VWAP is just an exceptional tool to use in your trading. So we can see we had a first resistance here, actually second resistance here, first here, second here, third here, and actually fourth here. So we can see that we can't just seem to across this resistance level. So if you want to go long, then there is no setup right now. If you went long here based on some, let's say based on RSI, yeah, RSI was about 21. If you went long here, sure, you had some profits, but as long as we break this anchored VWAP level, there is no long setup here, at least for me. And now you might I'm talking about these anchored VWAP levels a lot. You might be wondering why are they acting as support and resistance levels. So anchored VWAP is the average price that the people who shorted this stock paid to short this stock. So since anchored VWAP means AVWAP means average volume weighted price, that's correct, right? Oh, sorry. So since anchored VWAP, actually anchored is volume weighted average price. Totally my bad. So volume weighted average price, since it's volume weighted average price, it's the average price that all the shorts that are shorting the stock are paying to short this stock. So whenever we hit this price, the shorts get triggered. They don't want this price to cross because that's their average price that they used for shorting purposes. So that's why whenever we are hitting these price levels, they just get in, they short the stock a bit more, such that we respect this level and we start going back down again. And similarly, when we have an anchored VWAP from below and the price is going up, whenever price comes down, since that's the average, since that's the volume weighted average price, longs come in and they want to have that level act as a support. Other than that, plenty of algorithms use anchored VWAP as well to find the support and resistance level. So that's another reason you'll often see these act as these levels. So but again, we can see that this is such a nice level. So actually, if you want to short, you could have opened the short position here, or you could have bought puts. So again, this is actually a really beautiful play, and you could have actually bought some puts here. Let's wait before we actually cross this level, before we buy any calls, or before we go long here. Let's see what else did we have. We had MT actually had a breakout, so we posted it here because it broke out of this level. But again, since markets are pretty choppy these days, you can see that we followed through next day. Then we had 3 green candles, but then finally we actually have 2 green candles. You could have exited here, but you can see that we actually went back up, so you might have not exited here, because you're always waiting for the price to either close above or below these levels, and the price closed totally fine here. But the next day we gapped down slightly, and now this is a red candle. So this was a setup where you would probably have had a little bit of a loss. But again, markets were slightly rough for bulls this week, so this is just an outcome of that. And let's say eBay. Again, eBay had earnings, and this was such a beauty. This was my favorite setup for this week. And the reason I really liked it is because we had this support level. Let's see, we had one more support level. Alright, we had this support level. So eBay was my favorite setup for the week. Let's see what happened with eBay. And you can see that there were earnings. I posted it on April 23. So April 23, I posted it right here. You can see that the next 3 days we went up from about 60 to about 62.3. So that was a $2 increase in the next 3 days, because this was just a really beautiful setup. But then I think on Thursday we had earnings, and earnings are always the most trickiest thing to play. So I'd highly recommend new people to not play earnings, even the experienced ones, because in my personal experience, it's almost impossible to play earnings. If you want to play them, there are a few ways that you can use to play them slightly safely, but they're still extremely risky. So since we had earnings Thursday, this would have been your exit. So this was actually a really good play. This was not bad at all. It's just a consequence of earnings. I believe maybe they were not good, and we went down with a lot of volume actually. Let's see. So those were some of the stocks that we posted last week. As you can see, they didn't work as well as we wanted them to, but given how red the markets were this week, you can see that they were still almost break even or about 1 or 2%, let's say, losses. So I'm still pretty happy with what we posted last week because I still think those were really good setups. If you have a process that you're following and some weeks are bad, that's totally fine because that is always going to happen. There is never going to be a case where you are going to win 365 days in a year. So let's 252 actually probably, yeah. So let's actually just sort of go over this video and learn why those were good setups, what happened that invalidated those setups, what were the causes where what were the causes that made us look into those setups and that made us confident that those setups were good. So you've seen all those beautiful support and resistance lines, and where was the entries, where were the exits. So let's the video is more of an educational video to just show you how we look over these stocks and how we find plays for ourselves. So hopefully I think we are going to keep creating these videos. In a few weeks we'll obviously have videos where the setups have worked really well, but this was obviously a slightly red week. Our portfolio is down about 1.5% in the week. So again, just trying to show you how things work, and just trying to show you how there are always red days and green days. This was a slightly red week. So please watch this video and just sort of get the lessons that we're trying to teach, and then we are going to see you hopefully next week or the week after that. Thank you so much for watching this video. We really appreciate all your time. Goodbye.